It is 6 a.m. and developing on Denver7 News.
We are working for companies that are neglecting our safety.
Coloradans doing all they can to get by, say their employers are putting their safety at risk.
There's everything ranging from, no hand sanitizer, no masks, to employees being terminated for raising concerns in the workplace.
Within hours, a statewide call to action to put worker safety first.
Plus, Colorado is ready to roll out a confirmed COVID vaccine.
We are prioritizing, of course, those in residential care, our frontline medical workers.
How our state is preparing for tomorrow's FDA hearing.
We asked and you delivered, Colorado. It was a record-breaking Colorado Gives Day this year.
We know that our nonprofits need us now more than ever, and Colorado donors have really stepped up to the plate.
And donations went to almost 3,000 nonprofits in Colorado who really need our help this year. So a huge thank you to all of you who donated. Good Wednesday morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. And make sure you get outside today because tomorrow the cold front moves in. Meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo joins us from her home weather center. Lisa, one last day in the 60s.
Yeah, after a good week of warm weather, it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system come Thursday and Friday. It's the last day of 60s before this next storm. This morning, you're going to find mainly 30s, sunny skies, clear conditions today, another really pretty day. Your dog walking forecast puts us here in the 30s at about 8 o'clock, but we'll be in the low to mid 60s between about 3 and 4. So another beautiful afternoon. Here's a look at some of those highs. We've got Denver at about 65, Castle Rock, same thing. Estes Park, you're going to be in the low 50s, close to 60 there in the foothills in Evergreen. All right, fast forward about 48 hours from now, and we're looking at a pretty big change. This is by early Friday morning. Snow is going to develop Thursday night into Friday. I'll show you just how much colder it's going to get and how much snow we're expecting in your neighborhood. Jason, coming up here in just a few minutes.
And obviously, we're going to see some slick road conditions develop, especially on the bridges. We could see some icing conditions on some of those usual spots in the shaded areas. And right now, no weather worries to worry about right now, so it looks pretty nice anywhere you want to go. Want to take a look at 6th Avenue out to the west side of town. This is at Sheridan. Eastbound traffic right here making this trip easily all the way in from Golden to downtown Denver. Only about 8 minutes there, 11 minutes on I-70, so nice and quiet for us for the most part. Yesterday we had all kinds of problems through the 6 o'clock hour, and then it lingered for the rest of the morning. I hope it's not going to be. Tuesdays are typically the worst of the commute days, so this Wednesday is actually starting off in excellent shape.
We start with some breaking news. The UK National Health Service says people with a history of significant allergic reactions to food or medicine should not get Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. 2 healthcare workers have had anaphylactic reactions shortly after getting the shot. Reactions like these were not seen in the trials. Both workers are said to be recovering, and now there's an investigation into whether this is a more widespread issue or if it was just limited to those 2 workers.
We know frontline workers like healthcare and essential workers will be the first to receive the vaccine here in Colorado, but they're now raising concerns that the state is not doing enough to protect their health and well-being. Denver7's Sean Toll joins us live this morning. And Sean, more than 1,000 COVID safety complaints have been filed with the state.
Yeah, Brian, more than 1,000 complaints since the site was launched in May, and those complaints are across the board on a number of issues facing workers.
There's everything ranging from, no hand sanitizer, no masks, to employees being terminated for raising concerns in the workplace about, their safety and the safety of their coworkers and customers.
Yeah, the Colorado AFL-CIO says there may be more issues because the site has had very little promotion, so we may not know the full scope of everything. And at their press conference today, they're going to have workers from various industries sharing their stories, including hairstylists, grocery employees, and more. And the organization wants the state to step up a hotline or set up a hotline for workers to file complaints and have stricter enforcement.
We need timely investigations into the complaints, again, at the state level. We need enforcement on businesses in violation, and we need regular report outs detailing the number of complaints, the number of complaints investigated, and the outcomes and the actions taken.
Yeah, and it's no secret businesses have been struggling through the pandemic, which is why today Adams County is actually going to start taking applications for its restaurant stability program, where they can get up to $10,000 of much needed help. And so that will be something that businesses will have an option to get going forward. Reporting live, Sean Toll, Denver 7.
Thank you, Sean. New this morning, a Colorado Springs barbershop owner is suing Governor Polis over COVID relief set aside for minority-owned businesses. According to our partners at the Denver Post, the business owner says the new funding, which has $4 million set aside for minority businesses, is unconstitutional because that money is awarded solely based on race. The barbershop owner is white. That $4 million in relief is part of an overall $57 million package designated for small businesses and arts organizations.
Colorado's mask order will go on another 30 days. Governor Polis extended that order last night. It could last even longer. Across the country, 1 in 22 Americans have now tested positive for COVID-19 since the pandemic began. We have surpassed 15 million cases in the U.S. Our country represents 22% of the world's reported cases, but we only make up 4% of the total population. Meanwhile, here in Colorado, nearly 4,000 cases were reported yesterday. Colorado's first gentleman, Marlon Reese, is out of the hospital and back home this morning. He was admitted to the UC Health Anschutz campus in Aurora Sunday with shortness of breath and a worsening cough that developed a week after contracting COVID. Reese says he's thankful to the doctors and nurses and for the public support. Governor Polis himself is no longer experiencing symptoms.
Tomorrow, the FDA will hold its hearing for the emergency authorization of Pfizer's COVID vaccine. Of course, we're now waiting to see how this morning's news about allergic reactions in Britain will impact those hearings. Here's ABC's Alex Perchet.
A U.S. vaccine on the horizon. Pfizer is poised to get emergency approval for its COVID-19 vaccine as early as tomorrow, after the FDA released an analysis showing how effective the shot was in trials. Look at that blue line. It's the low rate of people who got COVID after getting the vaccine. Now compare it with the red line. That's people on the placebo who got the virus. By the end of the study, of those who got the real vaccine, only 8 got infected. In the placebo group, 162 got COVID. President-elect Biden vows to distribute 100 million vaccines in his first 100 days. President Trump is taking a victory lap. But in an interview with CNBC, Pfizer insiders now revealing that government officials turned down an offer for millions of extra doses, despite knowing the vaccine was safe and effective.
I think they're betting that more than one vaccine is going to get authorized and there'll be more vaccines on the market.
Now, the White House is reportedly negotiating with Pfizer to secure a second batch of vaccines. And they can't come soon enough. Health officials in California say the Thanksgiving surge is now hitting their state. A spike in cases and ICU beds filling up.
We're running out of space, we're running out of supplies, and we have a shortage of providers.
Emergency alerts now going out to cell phones, urging residents to stay at home. Washington State extending its lockdown another 3 weeks. Massachusetts now rolling back reopenings. And North Carolina announcing new curfews overnight.
The stakes are dire. This is truly a matter of life and death.
Hospitals in New Mexico are so full now they're transferring patients to neighboring states, Arizona, Texas, and Colorado. Alex Perchet, ABC News, Washington.
While appearing on CNN last night, Governor Polis said vaccines will be distributed to states based on population. Once here in Colorado, he says those in residential care and frontline medical workers will be prioritized.
We are following some breaking news out of Castle Rock this morning, where police continue their investigation into an overnight officer-involved shooting. This is new video of the scene on Short Grass Court, not far from the I-25 Wolfensberger exit. Police say it started as a domestic disturbance. They say they shot a person who was carrying a gun. That person was taken to the hospital. A big part of our rebound from the pandemic is helping people put food on the table. The Stout Street Foundation and Food Bank of the Rockies are hosting a free food box distribution today. Starts at 11 a.m. at the Stout Street Foundation office on 49th Street and Pontiac in Commerce City. The food boxes will be given away first come, first served to anyone in need. If you can't go to this distribution event, you can always go to the Food Bank of the Rockies website to find one near you.
We want to say a huge thank you to everyone who donated for Colorado Gives Day yesterday. With your help, a record-breaking $50 million was raised for Colorado nonprofits. And your donations yesterday made those nonprofits eligible for additional money from an incentive fund created by the Community First Foundation and sponsoring partner First Bank. Denver7 was once again a proud sponsor of Colorado Gives Day.
Absolutely amazing.